welcome. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. I'm not sure what happened there. To Hearts of Iron 4, Red Flood. Yes, it's the crazy mod. I like how there's a card now. So in case you don't know what this mod is or why I call it the crazy mod, well, I have a spotlight on it from like a long time ago. I've even got a spotlight on the 0.2 update. Anyway, this is the 0.3 update. So in case you don't know, Red Flood is a world in which World War I basically was a stalemate. It was bad, and everybody went insane as a result. Basically, very, very basically. The main difference is instead of fascism rising up to, put down the great socialist revolutions of the 20s and all that, we have that since everyone is insane, the sort of fascist-y ideology is accelerationism, which is basically, oh boy, so it is basically the rejection of all traditional values in favor of basically extreme feudalism, extreme modernism, that kind of shit. And so all the quote-unquote fascists in the world are basically led by poets, artists, people who exalt violence and the destruction of everything that is the old world and all that, blah, 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 blah. So obviously the main deal over here is avant-garde France under Artaud. Yeah, this is like the first country that Red Flood really comes out of. Red Flood really becomes famous because, for example, they have a path over here where they can, destroy an industrial society and like delete all the factories and try to burn Europe. This is the kind of deal that we have with Red Flood. I like it, but the thing about Red Flood is that, hold on. Excuse me. Yeah, for some reason you're not getting you're not really getting the audio from the game for some reason. Hearts of Iron 4 being retarded. Anyway, basically the thing about Red Flood is that you have a lot of things that are essentially memes, right? And so you just kind of have to accept it. Sometimes things are just insane. Anyway, so this is the event. As you can see, they have a whole new UI, which looks epic. I'm not gonna lie, this UI is great. Red Flood in general has always been best at graphical things. Like, even the icons are always something that are just a joy to look at. Anyway, they've also added this thing called annexation events. Now, I have not actually played Red Flood 0.3, so I have not been able to look at these annexation events and how they work, but apparently the way they were explained is that they're supposed to be helping borders look good, I guess. So anyway, annexation events have been continuously added to Red Flood. Unfortunately, due to the sheer number of countries and their related annexation events, many bugs are found to surface. So this is very highly experimental. Yeah, I don't know. I like the idea. If it makes the world look good at the end and rational at the end, then sure, fine. Also, do you like see this? Hold on, let me try to zoom in on it. Oh, wrong. Yeah, like I'm being cool with my OBS. If you can see, like the flag over there is just like, yeah, it's doing the thing. Now I need to. Oh, this is a mistake. Now I need to. I'm sorry. I am very sorry for my mistakes. Shit. There we go. Yes, this was not a good idea. Oh, god damn it. Okay, there we go. We have fixed it. Anyway, there's like a little nice like 1900s early film effect on flags, which is pretty cool. Anyway, other than that, the update mainly focuses on updating a lot of Eastern European area focus trees. So we're gonna go through all of them in order. Now, the last update, if you'll recall, added focus trees to Belarus, did they actually add it to? Yeah, to Poland, Belarus, Ukraine. Did they even add Lithuania? No, which are the Intermarium faction, essentially because the Russian Revolution in this world was suppressed by the White Army. Poland, under Pilsudski, was able to well, not complete the Promethean project, but sort of get started on it. So in case you don't know, the Promethean project was this whole idea about that Pilsudski had to like bring the independence and freedom to the subjects of the Russian Empire, which is the whole basis for the whole Intermarium thing. Anyway, they added things to this bunch of countries. Now they added focus trees to... Well, they actually changed a few focus trees, but we're not going to really take a look at those. Although the main thing that they changed is that there's now a USA collapse event, which unfortunately I have not seen, but like I've seen some screenshots and it looks kind of cool. And some of the countries that come out of the USA have focus trees themselves. Then they updated also the Spanish Civil War with a lot of different factions that makes the Spanish Civil War kind of insane, as you'd expect, really. Yeah, like the new focus trees are as follows. So Syria, which is fucking theocracy in the middle of the Middle East. Syria, the Baltic General Government. So in case you haven't seen, obviously the Russian Empire is under a regency under Kolchak, and even though they were able to suppress the Russian Revolution, obviously, you can't make that shit go away that easily. And the Russian Empire is basically fragmented into a bunch of different warlords that are nominally sort of loyal to the central government. As you can see, all of these governates and unions and military districts are under white army generals and officers. We're gonna check them out as we go along. But in case you don't really know much about the history of some of these people, generally they tend to be pretty inbred, and so the consequences for the territories they govern are, well, devastating. Anyway, we have the Baltic General Governate. Finland actually has a new focus tree. I forgot to look at it beforehand, but whatever. Nice flag. That's a really, really good looking flag, though. Holy shit. It's disgusting, but at the same time, I kind of like it. I really like the color scheme. With the blue, the like very bright blue, sky blue kind of thing. Then the Russian Empire and the like Golden Lion of Finland. I don't know. I think that looks good. Then the Kafka Society, which is one of these accelerationist states. This time under the, well, in real life, communist poet, but in this timeline, insane poet. Maybe he was kind of insane in real life too. Vladimir Mayakovsky. Who is well known as like basically the main Russian futurist. Then we have a bunch of collapse tags and like tags that at the beginning aren't really all that interesting, like Korea, but they have massive civil wars and then they become interesting. We can't really, unfortunately, I can't really make this video that long. Then there's some new paths for Yugoslavia, which is this sort of exile Manchurian state. Exile because obviously we have Kerensky in charge. It's basically the remnants of the provisional government and the socialist revolutionaries in the Far East. And since in this timeline Russia won the Russo-Japanese War, this is all like Russian territory, and it's Yellow Russia. Then they added a tree to Mantatsu, which was the South Manchurian conglomerate under the Japanese Empire, basically the South Manchurian Railway from Changchun all the way to Dairen. Now, of course, it's led by Mr. Nobusuke Kishi. He probably looked younger in 1946. He looks like he. So in case you don't know, this guy was a prime minister of Japan in the 1960s. Previously, horrible war criminal and abuser of slave labor. Then great friend of the United States. But this is how he looked in the 1960s. This guy's famous in the Hearts of Iron 4 community because of a funny path and TNL mod that has him. Anyway, there's a Mantetsu for history, and Mantetsu was again this corporation that primarily was supposed to manage this railway that went from the port of Dalian all the way to basically Harbin, where this railway intersected with the Chinese Eastern Railway, which was a cutoff from Chita to Vladivostok of the Trans-Siberian. In real life, this company also basically managed a bunch of other industries and was basically critical to the whole Manchukuo business. So in this timeline, instead of like Manchukuo under Puyi, so like an empire that was supposed to be sort of a independent Manchurian state, this is literally just a Japanese East India Company except for Manchuria. That's the difference between that. And they have a tree that we're going to take a look at in a little bit. Then we have a tree for the Orenburg General Governorate, or Orenburg General Governorate Military District thing. Which was a real subdivision of the Russian Empire, but mostly dealt with basically Cossacks ruling over Kazakhs and some parts of the southern Urals. For some reason, this is still called Magnitogorsk, even though the Soviet Union never existed. So yeah, the tree is going to be in a while. Then there is the Siberian General Governorate. I'm just working off the list that they provided, which is why it's kind of going all over the place. Siberian General Governorate, of course, based in Nikolaevsk, and they're kind of funky. They're kind of funky to say the least. Then, of course, the Southeastern Union, which is the equivalent of the Kaiserreich Donkuban Union, basically everything in the southern Russian steppe and sort of the northern Caucasus region, and the Kuban, which is this area under Kaledin. Then, of course, the Steppe General Governorate under Lavr Kornilov, of course, the guy under the famous Kornilov coup. The Steppe General Governorate is obviously mostly dealing with northern Kazakhstan and southern Siberia under the funny city of Omsk. And the Yakushan General Governorate, which is the sort of northern Far East of Russia. The Russian Far East is basically divided between three regions. There is Yakusha and Kamchatka, which is north of... There's a fucking river over here. Then there's the Baikal region, which is the proper sort of Russian Far East. And then there is the Primorye region, which is the region that is around Vladivostok and basically on the other side of the Amur River, which is this one, which is like the... if you know Kaiserreich, the country of Trans-Amur, is basically this. So Yakusha has this focus tree, and Yakusha is also a constituent republic of the Russian Federation. I'm just explaining some of these things very, very briefly because some of these probably are very confusing to people who don't know all that much about weird, obscure Russian shit. Anyway, and then Yugoslavia, which I'm playing because obviously like a lot of people were waiting for this Yugoslavia tree. So I guess we're gonna take a look at Yugoslavia first, and there's a reason why we need to take a look at Yugoslavia first. Also, I love this little effect they have, like just how good is this? Like look at this shit, just like goes pew. Anyway, Yugoslavia has it's an accelerationist country, much like France or Poland. And potentially Russia can also have a lot of accelerationist tabs. But basically, Yugoslavia is based on the Black Hand, basically, and just in general Serbian ultra-nationalism. And just in general, insane Serbian shit. In case you don't know, one of the people who created a Red Flood is the Serbian kind of Nazi kind of guy. So a lot of this influence is still there. So there's three main paths. One is the Zbor, which is a real-life Serbian ultra-nationalist party, which is basically kind of like a ultra-nationalist, kind of religious extremist state. Death to the world. Basically, it is the most sane one out of all of them, which already is starting to, put ideas in your head. If this guy is the most sane, then I don't know. So yeah, God and Slavs. So of course, like the Slavs are the fucking chosen people of God, or some fucking shit like that. The second most sane is Comrade Tesla. Now, in case you don't know, Nikola Tesla is a very, very, very famous Serbian/Croatian. I've just caused a civil war in the comments. Serbian/Croatian inventor, most famous for his study of basically light, electricity, and that kind of shit. And basically, he is the side of accelerationism that is less reactionary and more, futurist slash technocratic slash ooga booga science. So as you can see at the end, he's got the Technoslavia with the funny Slavic swastika made out of electricity or whatever. There's a lot of countries that are accelerationist in Red Flood that are actually like sort of ultra technocratic. Basically, they believe that society should be governed by those who are more scientifically skilled instead of the more artist wing of accelerationism, which is based in France at the beginning. These guys think that artists should lead the, accelerationist movement, while these guys think that technologically minded people, scientists and engineers, should do that. And then there's also the third side of accelerationism, which is just ultra-nationalism, pure and simple, with like weird religious characteristics. Anyway, so that Tesla, he's super cool, amazing, epic. I probably, if I were to play Yugoslavia, I'd probably play him, but whatever. Then there's progressive Pan-Slavism, because of course Pan-Slavism has to emerge somewhere. And this is basically just fuck everyone who isn't a Slav, and artistic accelerationism forward. Also idealizing barbarism, because of course the barbarian is a man who has risen above animal existence, but not letting the luxuries of civilization corrupt and soften him, of course. And then at the end, you have the Balkan Hyperborea, with the fucking Serb Hyperborea art, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Going nuts yet? Well, there's more. Of course, they have like a little war tree, a little economy tree, which depending on which on which political path you chose, you can obviously only pick one or the other. unity and brotherhood. And there's also a diplomatic tree with the future of Yugoslavia. Now, if you're the Zbor, the god Slavs, the sort of not really theocratic, but like religious fundamentalists, or like Serbian Orthodox supremacy. So like these are the guys who you see in comments about anything Turkish or anything Polish, just going like, yes, Serbian Orthodox. We're gonna take Constantinople. Sorry, get out. So basically, they're about Pan-Slavism under Orthodoxy. Now, revolutionary Pan-Slavism is like, I don't care about anything. I only care about you being a Slav. And they have two options: either joining the Ligue Solaire. How do you even say League in French? League, La Ligue, probably something like that. But the Ligue Solar or the Ligue Solaire is the faction of France, because the fucking weird people in charge of France are obsessed with the sun, and they have renamed Paris Le Soleil, the sun. So it's like, why the fuck does Britain own Calais? Nobody knows. So it's like, yeah, they're going nuts about the sun and shit. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you can join France, or you can join the Slavic Brotherhood of Poland with the Intermarium, and I mean, of course, if you're like Pan-Slavic, you join the Epic Poland for the Epic Pan-Slavism. So that's Yugoslavia. Then what should we look at first? I guess Finland, because I've got no idea what's going to be going on there. So it's going to be a learning experience for me too. Just yeah, okay. I'll just take a look at the whole Russian Empire, because really this is like where, see, in the previous update they released a focus tree of the Russian Empire. Hint: it's going to collapse. And the Russian Empire is a really big part of this mod and why it's interesting to me. Just seeing all the weird Ruskoye Polye Experimenta stuff. The Russian field of experiments and all that. Russian overlordship, Russification. Okay. Storm in Central Russia. So this is basically when Russia explodes. Okay, democratic coup. So new Finnish government. So that's a sort of democracy within Russia. Okay. I see. So that's reformist Finnish democracy within Russia. Seine's execution. So that splits off into three paths. I'm already seeing funny. So we're gonna see the funny for the Karelian Academic Society of Finno-Ugric Supremacy. Okay, so this is basically Greater Finland. Wait, no, Kekkonen! Oh no, Kekkonen! Helikko Kekkonen! Oh no, why are they using this like really, really old picture of Kekkonen? He should probably be a lot younger. Okay, so this is out of a Finnish meme, in case you don't know. Kekkonen was this Finnish prime minister in the Cold War. And he basically was... like, he basically ran a one-party state kind of thing, because he would just win all the elections with ridiculous majorities without even really, like, doing any funny fraud or anything like that. It was just Kekkonen. And there's this funny Finnish meme of, like, someone counting votes for something. And he's just going, Kekkonen, Kekkonen, Kekkonen. And it goes on for like 5 minutes of him going, Kekkonen, Kekkonen, because everybody votes Kekkonen. So this is the meme where that's from. Right. Okay, Suejian Poleman Henti. Sure. Oh, so you just get war goals on literally everyone. I see. Unlocks destroy the Russian language decisions. Interesting. Prepare to crown. Oh no. Oh no, Finnish monarchy. King Ilmari. So you can either be pro-British or pro-German. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm taking my gun and shooting myself. And yeah, I was gonna say, this is the funny, and oh no, it's that meme. Oh no, it's that fucking meme of like the fucking Nazi aliens and shit. And the Nazi pyramids like fucking lifting off and going into the sky. Right, the cosmic, the black and red. So yeah, okay, so everybody just the Great Pyramid of Helsinki. So everyone's just going fucking full nuts. So yeah, okay, dreams of the old fatherland. So that's the accelerationist path, which I guess is like, yeah, they've got some kind of Scientology shit about 34th dynasty. We are like the lost Egypt. Pharaoh of Finland. Wait, is this literally just fucking Finnish We Was Kings? I guess that's, yeah. No, what's going on? They're going nuts. Okay, so Finland is just completely fucking insane. I love it. This is really good. This is really, really good. Okay, so that's Finland. I'm already fucking laughing. Then the Baltic. Actually, what is the tag of the Baltic? Now, the Baltic has a very, very interesting character appearing, if I recall correctly. Now, at the beginning, they're under the governorship of Pavel Vermont Avalov, who was this White Army guy in the region in the Russian Civil War. Now, he wasn't, as far as I remember, he wasn't particularly like nuts compared to a lot of other White Army people, and he's just doing his own business, you know, Russifying the Baltic, slash working with the German aristocracy, the Baltic German aristocracy, while trying to not make everything collapse and all that. Now, he's having some problems with partisans, and then something happens, and you either can have pro-German path, pro-Russian path, or the Brotherhood of the Russian Truth, which is what kind of interests me. So let's actually just go ahead and do that. Oh, I guess you become independent. The March of November the 13th. Gets the event Wiping the Dirt. Okay. Yeah, you're having to kill all the people. Ah, shit. I'm trying to see if I'm recalling this correctly. I'm trying to see if I remember this correctly. Okay, hold on. So across Riga, the soldiers that fought in our civil war have been marching home and at one more show of their loyalty to Avalov and his cause. Blah blah blah. Even former rebels who have begun helping to clean up the corpses and wipe the blood away. Okay. Hold on. So it will be alright, I think, is Russophiles. Then we have B or C. Okay, so B is this one. There we go. Truth prevails. Left to traitors. So basically, Avalov gets assassinated by some terrorists. And what happens? Well, you normally are, yeah, just this fucking insane shit. the Brotherhood coup. Now, what the what is that flag? Anyway, the Baltic Federal Socialist Republic. Okay, so I guess you have this socialist insurrection against you. And yeah, you have this fucking insane ultra kind of Black Hundreds fucking pro-Russian faction. That's right there. This is basically this one. Our truth is safe from the foreign hordes. So this is basically ultra-Russian nationalism. Here we go. So that's the Brotherhood of the Russian Truth. If I recall correctly, no, actually, I don't remember if that's the case, but that's not something that is in the game right now. So fuck that. Hold on. What's next? What is next? Oh, it's the Kafka Society. Now, the Kafka Society is pretty simple. There's 3 possible poets that duke it out in a fucking poetry duel to lead the Kafka Society, because again, as I said, the Kafka Society is fucking nuts. And the first focus is, of course, we live in a society. Now, you can either have Alexei Tolstoy, Vladimir Khlyebnikov, or Mayakovsky take charge. Now, Khlyebnikov is basically his whole idea is we need to like remake language, and yeah, it's some complex shit over here. These are some fucking rabbit holes, because these people are real. Like all these 3 are real, and they were all pretty nuts in like real Russian literature. Anyway, Mayakovsky is basically all about just continuing, you know, making the Kafka Society epic and futuristic, while Alexei Tolstoy is the more pro like Russian ethnicity kind of deal. And yeah, he do be having the neo-boyar aesthetic. Now, as you can see, all of their focuses are really epic looking, because again, super fucking futuristic art. Anyway, they have a lot of weird diplomacy about like basically just expanding to this kind of shit. And they can join Ukraine if Ukraine is accelerationist. They can also be in an alliance with the American Technate if that forms. Yes, there is an American Technate. And bring the future to the free roams. Nice. They can also fucking join the Deep Solar, because why not? And I love how the armed wing of the Kafka Society over here in their little epic icons, they've got just Vaina Vaina, which is war in Russian. Vaina just means war, and they got Vaina twice because they're, you know, they've got the epic futuristic language. So that's the Kafka Society. Now, does the Novorossian Government? Oh no, Drozdovsky's visit to Yalta. Actually, I don't remember. I don't particularly remember what happens with the Novorossian Government. I'm pretty sure it was this was announced, or this was released in the last update, but I don't fucking remember what happens. Anyway, there we go. I'm gonna tag to Southeastern Union. Is that gonna be the tag? I wonder what the tag is. Oh, Dankuban Union. Thank you. So Dankuban is basically, as I said, the region that is straddling the steppes of southern Russia and the northern Caucasus. So actually what you have is you have a divide between some of the more Russian north, some of the Cossack center, and the, well, Caucasian mountains, who have a gigantic clusterfuck of ethnic groups. So you have a ton of different factions over here. Now, at the beginning, they're under Alexei Kalyedin, who was basically the Southern White Army's principal leader. Sort of. You also had Wrangel in the sort of southern Ukraine, Crimean region, famous from Kaiserreich. And you also had the Ottomans of the Cossacks, but here we have Kalyedin in charge, and he can just stay the leader of the Donkoban, and you know, you can go down and be like, oh my god, I'm going to kill the traitors of Russia, but he can betray Russia and join the Intermarium. He can betray Russia and join the Ukrainci, or he can be sort of, yeah, like equal partners with Russia, or he can join Russia with an epic socialist fraternity kiss. Now there are also other paths. Now another one is the Linietsi. What actually fucking are the Linietsi? The Linists. Oh, just another military faction? Okay. So they're still pro-Russian, they're still despotic. Solve the separatist problem. Sure. There's also another faction who are the Chornomortsi. Now, these are more pro-Ukrainian. More pro-Ukrainian over here. The right-wing authoritarianism. They're more pro-Ukrainian, I say. Oh, that's why. Okay, so Kalyedin can join the Intermarium. The Chornomortsi can join the Intermarium. The Chornomortsi can join the Sich, or the Sich, the Ukrainian government. Kalyedin can join Russia, and the Linietsi only can do the socialist fraternity kiss with Russia. I see. So anyway, basically this is a more multinational and more pro-Ukrainian state of the Black Sea. Chornomortsi means the Black Seaists. It's a disgusting translation, but just to, you know, make you understand the mechanics of the language over here. Chorno is black, Morie is the sea, in Russian, Chornomorye Morie is the Black Sea. So Chornomortsi, this word that's just a, you know, mashing together of those different words, means the people who are of the Black Sea. There we go. So that's basically them. Then you have the Death of Union, which I suppose is, you know, everything exploding, as you'd expect. Now, I'm kind of weirded out. I wonder why there's no Pyotr Krasnov. So, Pyotr Krasnov was the leader of the Cossacks of the region. I'm not sure why... Yeah, I'm not sure why the Ataman Krasnov does not have a path, but whatever. And then you have Gorgulov, who has a interesting name and a very interesting focus right now. He's the insane guy. He's the accelerationist, of course, because why the fuck not? And he's the Scythists. All Scythian National Peasant Green Party. Now, the Greens, we're not getting into the Greens. The Greens are not currently on the program. We cannot talk about the Russian Greens. It is going to be a mess. So just know that it was a faction in the Russian Civil War. Now, this guy is nuts, and he is in favor of the revival of the Scythian nation. Now, the Scythians were this weird empire that was basically ruled by this nomadic, probably Central Asian society, the Scythians. and possibly these guys were ruling over like the Proto-Slavs in the Ukrainian region at the time of basically Rome, the Roman Republic. Then it falls apart and it's weird. But the Scythians have been interesting to basically anthropologists and people who study, cultures and histories, because they had this very weird society. Anyway, basically this motherfucker is Pol Pot, but he wants the return of this great ancient civilization, the Scythians, and no capitalists, no minorities, no monarchists, and no communists. So basically, he just wants to kill everything and kill everyone. Basically, that's just what is going on here. He wants to kill everything, kill everyone, and yeah, do that. Okay, I had an interruption. Anyway, so yeah, he's like, these people need to die, 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 and everybody needs to die, except the Scythians, whoever the fuck they are. They haven't existed since like the fucking 6th century, bro. Anyway, so he's not completely fucking insane, but, fun. Anyway, speaking of, again, funny Eurasian shit, we have the Orenburg Military District. Now, the Orenburg Military District is, as I said, basically also a Cossack kind of deal. The Orenburg Cossacks were a sort of one of the subgroups, one of the hosts of the Cossacks. And that's because the Russian Empire used the Cossacks to conquer Siberia, basically. Very, very basically. And then they were basically the primary means of controlling some of the northern Kazakh steppe. So, they're under Dutov. And Dutov over here is not having a good time because his quote-unquote district is filled to the brim with potential separatists. Now, they can create the Orenburg People's Republic. Right. So the Orenburg People's Republic is basically a Kazakh state. And / they can also be Kyrgyz. So basically, that path could like lead to them trying to unify sort of the Central Asian steppe region under their rule. Of course. So yeah, that's pretty normal. You have the new country, and if you're the Orenburg People's Republic, your fucking diplomatic tree is Death to the Red Menace. You gain an annex wargle on the Kazakh Red Army, which is still holding around here, and you're gonna kill some people, and you're gonna kill some more people, but you can also fucking annex or get annexed by the fucking general governorate of the steppes if they're led by a social democratic. Now the social democratic are the Alash, but we're gonna get to the Alash in a little bit. That's also another Kazakh. Now, Dutov can assert dominance, and Dutov is he can ally up with Drozdovsky, who's another White Army motherfucker who's doing his own gangbanging down in the Ukrainian region. And so he can be his ally, or he can be loyal to Russia, to good old Mother Bear Russia. Cute, wholesome. You know what's not cute or wholesome? The Eurasian idiocracy. Now, this is basically just Dugin, but in the 1930s, in a world in which Dugin in the 1930s is never going to make sense, but it kind of makes sense in this case. Because everybody's insane anyway over here. So, that's of course Eurasianism under Trubetskoy, who was the original Eurasianist, all the way back in the Russian emigre circles in our timeline, you had the birth of Eurasianism there. So, basically over here, yeah, you just have all the standard Jugendtalk, you know, the idea rule or the idiocracy, which, you know, the rule of ideas, the fucking epic demotic state. This is basically like an organic state ideal of, like, you know, respecting traditions while having a strong central government. And then you can form the greater Eurasia and all that. And apparently protective belt against Atlanticism, the union state of Eurasia. Jesus Christ. Amazing. So yeah, Eurasia is it's Eurasia. You've seen a lot of Eurasians in all these HOI4 mods these days, because Eurasianism is cool. I will give it that. Anyway, steps. What's going on with the steps? The steps are interesting. Now, they're under Kornilov, who wasn't the worst of the White Army people, but he was certainly funny. Now, basically, he's got 5 paths. Once Russia explodes, he can have Ukrainians rising up, because the Ukrainians are kind of scattered. There's some Ukrainian settlement that's scattered throughout the sort of Russian southern Siberia region and eastern regions. There can apparently be a Ukrainian uprising over here somehow. So you can, I guess, have Nova Ukrainia, Nova Ukrainia, or I guess this would be Black Ukraine. I'm not sure what color you'd assign to this region, but yeah, Black Ukraine. Invite the Kazakhs. So that creates the Alash Orda, the Alash state, which is another, another amazing Kazakh state. Kornilov's division has some questions. This is Gulidov's coup. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who that is or what that is, but I hope it's not too insane. Interesting. Or Anyankov, who is another Russian general, Boris Anyankov, provokes the Nomad Rage, which is another border clash, and that, I believe, leads to the nomads, these reactionaries, taking over, or the Governor General rules forever. Interesting. Very interesting. So this is basically going to try to create a new constituent assembly and recreate the provisional Russian Republic, except in the Kornilov coup variant. So that's basically what's going on there. So in case you don't know, Kornilov was one of the white generals who was more sort of open to working with a Republican form of government instead of wanting to all in out restore Tsarism. The other was Pyotr Wrangel in Crimea. They would have been okay with a either a stratocratic Russian Republic, so basically a military dictatorship, or a generally conservative Russian Republic that was more more inclined to the military's demands and all that, and killing communists and all that kind of shit. So, next up there is the Siberian Governate. Now, the Siberian Governate at the beginning is under the disgusting Black Hundreds, who were, oh boy, they were a kind of paramilitary that was ultra-orthodox, ultra-pro-Tsarism, ultra-anti-minority, ultra-anti-socialist, all the nice things. So one of their paths figures prominently in there. they've got their own little business. Now, they can also have the autonomists take over, so that's the Siberian independence or autonomy or independence movement, which tries to form a Siberian confederation based on social democracy, basically. And somehow, Europe of our own sign a treaty, create the faction the European Union, invitation to the European. Please just kill myself. Yeah, so that's Siberia, and then you have Yakusha under the Russian Pacific Fleet. Now, of course, they have a massive naval trade because of that. Now they're weird because they can either continue doing their own thing, that's what you'd expect. But depending on what happens in the states around them, they can have a lot of different paths in the end, which is part of the reason why this country is so, well, this colony is so interesting. So, for example, if Siberian General Government has become an autonomist, so pro-Siberian, they can become a signatory to the Treaty of Regional Cooperation and sort of join with the Siberian Confederation. Now, if Zholtorossia has a despotic party, so down here, Zholtorossia, despotic, I believe, would just be a white army coup. Yeah, monarchists, they can join up with those guys. If they can also just be independent, because why the fuck not? Or they can wait for unification, so basically wait to see what happens with Russia. Yeah, that's the continuation of the Pacific Fleet. However, there can also have the surprise from Mantetsu. So if you all recall, Mantetsu is this Japanese colony. So they can become Japanese puppets instead. And yeah, just signing up the Korean workers and the Chinese and then the Japanese. And they become part of the greater East Asian co-prosperity sphere. And at the end, they can pretend we were neutral. They can be the Japan's most loyal subject if Japan is doing well, aka if revolutionary Japan, so communist Japan, has not risen up and has not managed to overthrow the Japanese Empire. If the Japanese Empire has been overthrown, they can proclaim themselves the Empire in Exile. Now, Mantetsu, we're gonna get to in a bit, can also do that. So if I guess Mantetsu does not proclaim themselves, where the fuck is it? Yeah, the return home, I believe. There's at one point, oh, maybe it's the new constitution. Yeah, it's at some point, if you're the North China Government, you basically are the Japanese army in exile, or sorry, the Japanese Empire in exile. If they haven't done that, again, you can proclaim yourself the Japanese Empire, or if Imperial Japan does not exist, but Zholtorossia also is some version of communist or anarchist or socialist, you can have the Red Sailor Mutiny and become a Yakushan Soviet Republic, and then I suppose join up with Zholtorossia under a Great Far Eastern Soviet Republic. Or you can have the Spring of Yakusha, which is a social democratic Yakushan. Now, Yakusha is called Yakusha because there is a Yakut ethnic group that is original to this region of the world. And yeah, they can have their own version of the sort of multi-ethnic confederation kind of thing. Now, their paths are also super interesting because they can have the protect the North Asians. That is, if the Siberian Government, if you recall, if they went down the Black Hundredist path, because the Black Hundredists are Russian ultra-nationalists. They want to erase and basically genocide all the Asians. So yeah. Or you can be neutral. Or you can be European culture. So that is if the Siberian General Government has gone the Siberian Republic route. And you can, I guess, be part of the Treaty of Regional Cooperation as well. Or the Britannia scheme, which I suppose is like trying to get British support for an independent Yakushan republic. So that's the basic gist of it. Now, I remember that there was also a Syria, but yeah, Syria is not really that interesting. Like, you can stay as your theocracy kind of business over here. You can also be a Syrian republic, which can even be social democratic. Or you can have the Russian rule being reestablished and you going back to Russia. That's literally just Syria. And I don't think I really missed anybody else important in the meantime. So yes, the only thing that's left is Mantetsu, or Mantetsu. Now, you have two main paths at the beginning. Now, you can either do the Jingzhou Declaration, and the Jingzhou Declaration is we're just going to continue with our merry path of just being epic and having a semi-slave, semi-industrial society. Or we can do End the Exploitation, which I suppose is like the more quote-unquote humane capitalism route, and do the modernized state. Now, like how the focus that begins that is Corporate Review, which is a pig, a black pig with a glowing yellow demonic force inside. Yeah, that's just about what is regular. I'm just gonna screenshot that. Lovely. Anyway, mainly Mantetsu is important if bad happens to the Japanese Empire, because if bad happens to the Japanese Empire, you have a lot more options. Now, if you're not under Japanese exile control, you're most likely going to go to, you're most likely going to be, here it says the Guangdong Army, but actually it's the Fengtian. You're going to be Fengtian 2.0, because at the beginning, the Japanese Empire is at war with the Beiyang government. The Beiyang government is under Yan Xishan's Shanxi clique, and the Fengtian clique, obviously the Chinese Manchurian militarists have been absorbed by Japan, and Japan is trying to expand in here, but it often fails, and so this is the 3-month campaign. Now, the 3-month campaign almost always ends in Japanese defeat, and if a revolution has taken over normal Japan, you become the North China Government, and you try to recreate Japan. You can even have the Japanese reformist technocrats, who I believe are accelerationist, probably. From the focus tree art, it looks like they're they're accelerationist. So, Japanese accelerationism there, going completely fucking insane. Or you can also purge the technocrats again and just be normal Japan. Now, the Guangdong Army clique is, again, as I said, it's basically just a Fengtian clique. Now, yeah, as you can see, then you become the Fengtian clique. You can also somehow unite with the Beiyang government, I guess. But, I mean, if you're actually playing, you're going to be doing the Fengtian clique. and trying to retake over China for the Great Fun Tian Flick. The Great Zhang Zuolin family. United Republic of China. Nice. And you get Zhang Zongchang, who is pretty based. Now, that's the new Chinese Republic, but also, of course, what faction you have in control deals with what military tree you're going to have, and of course, yeah, you have your own business to involve. So yeah, that's basically the Red Flood 3.0 update. Now, I might get around to playing it. I kind of hope that I might get around to playing it, but you know, it's got. Oh, another one is right. Another focus tree they added is United Provinces, which is Churchill's military reign of terror in like isolated India in Lucknow. Now, India in this mod is completely fucking nuts. Completely fucking nuts. But, oh no. Completely fucking nuts, but, yeah, there's a few areas of British rule left, and United Provinces is one of them. They're independent because they're just, like, again, in the middle of nowhere. And they're just trying to hold on for their dear life, and Churchill is the leader, and Churchill is going insane, and he's drunk, and you know, there's a lot of. So one path is like trying to form essentially an Anglo-Indian democratic state. Another one is trying to form a like British Nazi India, the English supremacy over India. I suppose this is like some people who have been following me for a while will remember that I used to play. I played at some point a East India Company becomes like a kind of Anglo-Indian Empire campaign in Victoria 2. This is basically that. Basically. Or just like gas the Indians. So just like Churchill's personal insanity. Yes, of course. This is just desperation and despair and like doomer mode. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that's the United Provinces. It's the kind of thing that keeps you up at night. But whatever. It's at least it's not Savarkar and the fucking what's their fucking name? I forget what this guy's is. Fucking RSS, right, RSS. The Modi paramilitary. Jesus Christ. Or the fucking Order of the Star with the fucking esoteric theosophy or whatever. Oh my god, please no. Just kill myself, Savitri Devi, Nazi shit. Anyway, that's Red Flood. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Maybe I'm gonna play it in some near future and play one of these guys and have fun. And yeah, see you soon.